When you think of overpowered devil fruits in One Piece, a few automatically come to mind. We have Akainu's magma fruit. We have Kuma's paw fruit. We have the rumble fruit, and obviously we have the tremor fruit. But one of the more versatile and strategically powerful fruits in the series kind of gets overlooked, primarily because it's used by a guy with a candle on his head. Yeah, today we're talking about the wax fruit, or the Doru Doru no Me. This is the devil fruit that can counter fire, build fortresses, trap giants, and even save Luffy's life more than once, all while still being treated like some comedic gag relief. The truth is, this devil fruit is way more powerful than people give it credit for. And today, we're breaking down exactly why this Paramecias devil fruit deserves way more shine than it's been getting. Let's start off with the misconception this time. The main reason people overlook the wax fruit is Mr. 3. Like, look at him. That boy is not scary at all. He looks like he goes door to door trying to sell you candles, not putting you on ice. He's cowardly, dramatic, and he spends more time scheming than he does fighting. Nothing wrong with plotting and scheming. I'm a big fan of plotting and scheming. Big fan of that. But he doesn't do anything with his schemes. They always end up, well, coming up a little short. But here's the thing. Just because the user is mid-tier does not mean the fruit is. We've been through this. One Piece has a lot of powerful devil fruits, but we've seen them in the hands of people that couldn't handle them or use them to the utmost potential. This is not a shot at Kid, but Kid's a perfect example. After all, looking at the gum fruit, I didn't think rubber was a cool power. I'm gonna keep it 100. Wool can stretch, that's cool. I wanted every other devil fruit. But even Luffy got eaten by a giant snake early on. Nowadays, he could literally turn a giant dragon into a snake jump rope. People grow and their powers advance with them, or some people remain stagnant. Unfortunately, Mr. 3 didn't do too much initially, but what he did do is kind of crazy. So far, he's the only person we've seen whose devil fruit can come into contact with sea stone and remain active. I'll talk more about that later on. And the wax fruit isn't about brute strength or destroying your enemy immediately. It's not. That's what you got the other fruits for. This is not for that. This is about control, creation, and versatility. After all, you are a craftsman with this fruit. Your limit is literally your imagination. This fruit lets you manipulate your environment, your defense, or even your enemy's movements, all at the same time. But let's get back into what we should have discussed originally, and that is what this fruit even is. So, the wax fruit, or the Doru Doru no Me, is a Paramecias type devil fruit that allows the user, in this case Mr. 3, to create and control and manipulate wax. Simple, right? Wax, you know? I like candles, you know? I like candles. But this wax isn't your average candle material. This wax can be reinforced and hardened and strengthened to be as tough as steel, and then molded into any shape that you can imagine. You don't have a finite or limited amount of wax that you can use, so literally you can mass produce these harder than steel weapons or armory. Do y'all remember the Little Garden fight? I know, it was a while ago, but we did just see a return of the giants. But remember those giants? They got trapped. Mr. 3 literally trapped 2 giants in a Kindle prison. So, this wax is strong enough to imprison giants. I don't know if you've seen giants, but they big. Way up there. Y'all saw Harudin, you mean? Big giants. Then, of course, we have the Impel Down, where Mr. 3 survived Magellan's poison. The poison that was literally melting down pillars and instantly eliminating anybody that touched it. Yeah, that joint. Solely with his wax armor. Luffy was not making it out of there or coming into blows with Magellan if it wasn't for the wax armor that Mr. 3 created. Also, it's wax armor. Did y'all see that? Yo, can you imagine having like a video game and choosing your customization anytime you want? Like, if you want to augment your weapon, you could just give your shoulder pauldrons a little bit of extra spikes, make your sword a little longer, whatever you up to. You mean, I don't discriminate, your choice. That just proves that this fruit isn't luck, it's raw versatility. The man turned candle wax into weapons, armor, traps, and he can even create copies of himself or anything else. He can create duplicate sculptures out of wax. I mean, he almost made a wax Zoro figure and a wax Nami figure. Zoro had to pose for it like, whoo. But even Zoro, they were all trapped by this wax. I'm saying it's more powerful than people give it credit. Imagine the creativity here though. Like, imagine giving like a cosplay artist or any 3D artist or any artist with like a 3D printer, but imagine the creations are instant. That'd be crazy. He's basically a one-man Lego factory that can easily mass-produced weapons of mass destruction. Now, the wax fruit true strength lies in its flexibility. It's not just defense, it's adaptive. With this power, you can seal off an entire doorway or tunnel with your wax because at the end of the day, it's harder, it's reinforced. So if you were to put a strong layer, boom, they break that, it only chips away at all the wax still behind it. You can trap enemies in it. Imagine a wax igloo, a wigloo, if you will. You're not going nowhere. Or if you want to be running, you could pull a Fortnite. You could create a fort right there. Just create your own little wax mansion. Once again, this is reinforced. Do that mid-fight. Run away from somebody. Create a stairway. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know about y'all, but I hate build mode in Fortnite. So if somebody started building a wax castle around me, you got it. I don't even feel like that no more. You won. And if you're chasing somebody and they're unarmed, now you got a wax shield. Now you got a wax sword or whatever you want. I don't know how like a wax bow and arrow would go because you would need something that's a bit tenuous that you could pull for the bowstring. So let's remove that. Let's do wax spears. You could chuck some wax spears at somebody, just throwing steel at them, steel daggers, wax daggers obviously, but just you could have an unlimited amount of weapons. Or if you're not a weapons expert, hand it to your mans. You got somebody in the back that's throwing around, listen, give Usopp some wax equipment and let him just fling off some wax pellets or whatever. No explosions, but getting hit with steel gotta hurt. You mean? Just saying. And above all else, you can neutralize certain elements by countering it. You can create a wax coating that's used as insulation against certain things. So extreme heat meets extreme wax. Obviously, wax will melt. However, you can do that for a while, so kind of mets even. Heat will eventually win out. However, you're not regular wax, you're steel wax. So you have a bit of a durability between you. Like I said, wax in the One Piece world, now we're taking the regular logic and applying One Piece logic. Wax in the One Piece world doesn't have the same malleable properties as our wax does. It's not as weak to fire. This means the wax fruit can literally counter some Logia users. But that's just devil fruit alone. Imagine if his already tougher than steel or as hard as steel wax was reinforced with some type of armament hockey. Now you have steel punches combined with hockey punches. You got double steel punches. I don't know what that is, but it's gonna hurt. Or if you want to have a barrier, you can have a barrier, a little wax barrier, and then reinforce that with your hockey. You'd have an almost impenetrable dome. That'd be tough. Or you could have an entire battlefield, have a wax maze. You could have a wax maze, and then when they get close, just seal the whole thing off with more wax, and then reinforce it, and then tighten it up. You could trap numerous enemies. Like I said, we saw that he's strong as to trap giants. So imagine you not being as strong as a giant, which is a lot of people in One Piece. A lot of people in One Piece aren't as tough as giants, let's be real. But if you can trap giants with your steel, imagine with your wax. Imagine regular people, or regular combatants who aren't as strong as giants. I'm just saying, wax on, wax off. Just, you can't hold a candle to this power. This begs a question. Why do so many people sleep on this fruit? Why is it not given the credit we all know it deserves? The answer is very simple. Presentation matters. Mr. 3 wasn't built or designed to look cool. He was a skinny, scrawny dude with glasses and a 3 on his head. Into a candle. I'm gonna keep it 100. That's not it. That's not the move. He was a Baroque work side villain with a goofy getup. And people don't forget that. Oda designed him for comedic timing, not intimidation. But if you strip away the personality and take the devil fruit away from the user, just identify just a devil fruit, you got a fruit with near limitless potential, especially for those creative fighters. In the right hands, this fruit could be up there with like the string fruit, or maybe even the mochi no mi. Just saying. Because this fruit isn't just about power, it's about control of the battlefield. Wax itself doesn't sound threatening until you realize that you can coat someone in this wax and have them suffocate, creating a perfect statue. Until you realize you could have wax copies elsewhere. Until you realize that if you were to abduct somebody, you could have a wax image of them posed up somewhere else, distracting or making them go somewhere else. And then when you get there, the wax just melts, wasting their time and allowing you to do whatever you need to do, whether that's getting away or get more information, whatever you wanted to do. Wax is such a versatile power. Like I said, if you were to use it to augment your abilities or augment your crew, coat their weapons, coat their shields, give them a back barrier, you are able to support your team in almost any capacity on the combat field. Which means you are the general, you are controlling this, you are a tactician. And it's just a tragedy that this power had to end up in the hands of someone who wasn't destined for greater things. Quick callback to what we discussed earlier, Mr. 3 was able to use his wax powers to activate or to unlock Sea Stone cuffs. You guys remember at Marineford, how did Ace get out? Cuffs, Sea Stone cuffs. Typically, if sea stone comes into contact with anybody, their devil fruit stops working. However, since the key was already created and whatnot, it was able to unlock sea stone cuffs. You can't say that's not tough. That versatility means if he wanted to, he could unleash everybody and impel down. He could have done what Blackbeard did, but without all of the, fighting and everything. There are a lot of uses if you just think them. So this fruit has to go to someone who has, I don't know, grander ambitions. So next time we have a pull where we're saying, oh, how strong is this fruit or that fruit? Make sure you put some respect on the wax fruit. It has to be up there because this goofy devil fruit is the only reason why we have One Piece. It's the reason why Ace was freed. It's the reason why Luffy's life was saved at Impel Down. He was able to tank Magellan's poison and imprison giants. A feat that very, 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 very few people can say they've done. It can defend, attack, build, and trap, all while using virtually unlimited material. It's not just a devil fruit, it's an arsenal disguised as a candle. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. 3 made a return. We've already seen how some of the Baroque work members have been popping back up. I'd love to see Mr. 3 return with more versatility and more control over his already powerful devil fruit. Because this devil fruit has warlord level potential if used properly. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button. I know you liked the video. I know y'all like Mr. 3. Y'all like wax fruit. Y'all like candles. You know why? Because candles smell nice. This is lemon zest. It smells amazing. But yeah, guys, thanks again for watching and tuning in. Per usual, I'll be dropping 1 to 3 videos every single week, depending on what you guys want to see. And above everything else, I want to thank you guys for coming to me and getting all your One Piece needs in one place. Thank you.